plaintiff, Adam Lanou, was a bar manager, and he worked with the defendant. Adam claims on his last day of work, there was a party for him at the bar, and he's suing because the defendant got drunk and sucker punched him, breaking his nose. Defendant James Avery says on the night in question, everyone was drinking. James insists Adam antagonized him, and that's the only reason he threw the first punch.
Tell me what happened.
I was the general manager of a college bar in Minnesota for 6 years.
What college?
University of Minnesota, the Twin Cities.
Okay.
I'd taken a new job and, given a notice, everybody knew I was leaving, and me and the owner had decided that Friday, February 4th was going to be my last day of work there. I bartended that night, which I often did on the weekends, help cover shifts. I bartended, there's a back bar, a front bar, and a downstairs bar. I bartended the back bar by myself. There's 3 people up at the front bar and 3 people downstairs. That same night, James was one of the people working downstairs.
How long had you all worked together?
It's been about 4 months at that point.
Right.
He came in right when we needed people. He was an easy hire, didn't need training. He's been bartending a long time.
Did a good job, to your knowledge?
Yeah, I liked when James worked a lot. He worked hard, cleaned. He was professional about it. He was a good employee. That night, since it was my going away night, we're closing out at the end of the night, and it took a little longer than normal. And I could tell that the people downstairs that were working had drank a lot during the job. And
the workers?
The workers drank, yeah.
Was that the case routinely?
Routine, 1 or 2 maybe.
Okay.
With the customer, but getting
smashed.
Party style smashed. Great word. Yeah. Getting smashed.
Your Honor.
Wasn't regular.
The owner know, or the manager?
I was the general manager.
You knew?
I knew it happened. We told people, don't do it. You can't do it.
You kidding me? You poured shots for everybody.
Yeah.
I've done shots with you.
Like once.
Come on.
Once or twice during the night, but that night.
Once or twice in the night?
Is that the case generally in the bar business?
I don't know how other bars go. I've heard.
Oh, you never worked at one, or you don't know anybody?
Not at the other ones I've worked at, but not like that. And we knew it was a problem. We'd try to stop it, and we'd try to cut it back.
You try to pour shots.
Right.
You just told me. You don't try to stop it, you pour the shots, like you said.
Right. Wasn't the best at running that job.
I'm okay. At least you admit it.
Right.
All right. I like that about you.
All right.
I wasn't the best at running that job. Go ahead. Good.
So that night we're closing up, and downstairs has to bring their money to everybody upstairs. Everybody brings it to the front bar upstairs, and it's taking downstairs longer than normal to close. So I know something was going on.
Okay. Before we get to the incident regarding the pain and suffering and the medical bills, let me allow him to give a little background, sir. What was it like working there, particularly under him as the supervisor?
It was fine. It's an alcohol-fueled establishment. Right? That's what you do. You're pouring shots all night long. 2 shots is a joke. He's got a history of drinking.
You've got a
history of drinking
too.
Well, of course I do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
So we got 2 drunks.
Yeah, right. That's exactly. It's what it is. So,
good enough. We got that point out of the way.
The owner knew that drinking happened. He didn't want it to happen. He wasn't even supposed to be drinking.
Right. He didn't want it to happen. Right.
This is a guy who he's been pulled over for DUI. Apparently he didn't have his pants on when he got pulled over for the DUI.
Plaintiff.
Yep.
Didn't have his pants on.
Yeah, I've got a
case of this.
I've got a record of showing that he got pulled over for DUI. Whether or not his pants were on, that's
Sir, were you pulled over? And
yeah, I've made mistakes and.
I know, but what was the pants thing about?
It was an incident at a red light that never turned green.
You were at the red light and it wouldn't turn green. Somehow that has to do with something to do with you taking your pants off.
There was I'm engaged to be married, and
the woman was in the car.
The girl was in the car with me. I didn't take him down, and it was kind of a laughing joke thing. Nothing happened, and that's that on the
record. You had your
nothing
pants
happened.
Down with your fiance in the car, and nothing happened.
She wasn't my fiance at the time, but Judge, she wasn't my fiance at the time.
That's different.
And nothing happened.
All righty.
There was. I'll say in court.
I'm headed to middle age, and what you're talking about is something young people engage in, but I promise you, if you catch me in the car and I got my pants down with my wife, fiance, girlfriend, or stranger, it's going down. It's going down, dog. I mean, if I was 70, it's going down. All right, now what an interesting story. Careless driving, alcohol, careless driving. What do you want to say about your record, sir? I mean, this was funny until I see that you've been driving drunk, which kills people.
I had a record. So that night, my last night at work, my fiance knew there's going to be some partying involved. I made a promise to her that I'm not going to be in any shape that I can't drive. I said I had 3 shots that night over the course of 5 hours.
All right, let's move on.
So that's what my answer to that is, that I didn't drink and drive. I made changes after those incidents.
That night, that's what you're saying. Medical bills and lost wages and pain and suffering. What occurred?
We were closing and James was intoxicated. So much that the giveaway to me was when he had slapped my coworker Mike here in the groin harder than somebody should be slapped in the groin in a playful way.
Slapped him in the groin.
Backhand to the groin.
Sir, this sounds rather odd. State your name.
I'm Mike Seidel.
Okay. You all would drink. Why don't you describe the scenario where you get slapped?
So I was working at the front bar that night. Typical night. End of the night, we're closing up. We're washing dishes, wiping off the front of the bar. James comes up, there's pale stuff around, rough around. We did stuff like that, and just that one.
But how did that become a part of the rough housing? You knew that would hurt the most? Is that what you...
No.
It's the most tender part on the man's body? In which it is. Half the women know that. Go ahead.
I probably came from Jackass or some other show like that.
Right.
And, it's happened to me, and it's like you get kind of roughhousing around, and you just run by and you give him a little tap.
All right,
like
I guess it's because it's a tender location.
Kind of doubled me over.
I know it did. Don't try to stop it, you pour the shots, like you said.
Right. Wasn't the best at running that job.
Okay. At least you admit it.
Right.
All right.
Right.
I like that about you.
All
All right.
So
That wasn't the best at running that job.
Plaintiff Adam Lanou is suing his former coworker, who he claims sucker punched him and broke his nose. And he has the pictures to prove it.
Go ahead.
So everything's closed and cleaned. Downstairs is finally getting cleaned. Night's over. The staff brought me cake for my last day. We're sitting there eating cake. We start arguing because he calls one of the bartenders sitting next to me. He says, every bartender that works here are the worst bartenders I've ever worked with, especially you. And he points to the female bartender sitting next to me, who I had hired, trained, worked with.
Then what happened?
And he starts calling her awful and says she's worse. I stood up and said, that's enough. I said, you're ruining my last night here. I just wanted to have fun and hang out, but you're ruining it. I'm going to go home. There was yelling back and forth. I walked towards the back door where my keys were to grab my keys. Next thing I know, I am punched in the face and I hear a tackle. I don't feel any pain because I think my body went into shock. And I look and I'm like, holy crap, I just got punched.
Did you call the police?
No, we didn't call the police.
Okay. What were the damages?
It was they had to stitch up this permanent scar now. They had to stitch that up. X-rays are here.
Any pictures?
And pictures. First picture is of me before the break. The second picture is of the night of the break. And the third is of the night, and then the last one is current.
All right. Before the break. After the break. Wow. Sir, what do you have to say about this?
Can I read a witness statement from someone who's worked at the bar for several years? My name is Adam Kelly Moody. Adam, rookie as we know him, Lanou, was the person who hired me. There was a lot of drinking that happened while you worked, as well as after bar hours. There have been multiple times that he's gotten so drunk while working, he has passed out either in the office or on a couch after people have gone home.
Is he going to say something about this incident?
This is just kind of a background on that.
I know we've already established that everybody works there are drunks.
Yes, sir.
So I need to know about this incident. What happened with this incident?
This incident, people are drinking. It's illegal just to have people in there drinking after hours.
Thanks for letting me know the law. Now, can we get to the incident?
Yes, sir. I started out choking with him. I said, about time we got a new GM. And then, it escalated. He got heated, and then I got heated, and then I did talk about the other bartenders and how they weren't that good. We did get we did get into an argument. We were both standing. He was still talking to me, antagonizing me. And I pushed a chair out of the way.
There you go. You hit him.
Yes, sir.
Good enough. So why don't you think you should pay for hitting the man and breaking his nose?
He didn't press charges. He didn't call the police.
All right, I know he's suing you. Why don't you think he should win the lawsuit because you broke his nose?
because I believe that medical insurance paid for his nose anyway.
Okay, that's irrelevant. Once he wins the judgment, they come after him, then he pays them. If they don't, then he's liable for fraud. But it's irrelevant with regard to this case today. So if that's your only defense, it fails. $3,043 for the plaintiff. He agrees he did it. His only defense is he thinks your insurance should pay for it. All right, have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Drew, I mean, I love working with you. You're a great guy. You're a great worker. But the stuff you brought up about 3-4 years ago in the car, I changed stuff after that.
He's an arrogant man.
Wow.
You always ran that
more
place.
arrogant
There was
than you,
always
bro.
drink and everything there.
Always, okay, 1 or 2.
You were hammered all the time. You started drinking at 4 o'clock.
12-hour days. I was tired.